Welcome to the Killing Podcast, Season 4, Episode 5, Truth Asunder. We're your hosts, Martha Southgate and...
Rob Southgate.
All right, we got to jump in.
Yes, I want to get asunder this as fast as I can, because it's awesome.
I just keep wanting to say, baby, baby, can't you hear my heartbeat? Because it starts out...
Oh, because of Sarah's heartbeat.
Sarah's heartbeat.
Okay, set it up, but then I want to talk about that for a second.
Okay.
So
they're dredging the lake.
Yes.
And Sarah's standing there. She's just in shock, as you can imagine. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Well, because the last episode ended with them going up to the lake, and they're pulling all the bodies out, and Carl is there.
And
the car was pulling up, and the water is pouring out of the car. Yeah. So the only thing you hear is Sarah's heartbeat.
Sort of the background, like you'll hear the waves and all the other background noises. But
pretty much most of what you hear is the heartbeat. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about it for a second, I was struck by something.
Okay.
Her heartbeat at the beginning of it was never fast, but it seemed to even slow down a little bit more, like she was calming down. Why would she be calming down? Because if you're panicked, your heartbeat should be which would have made more sense. But her heartbeat was very steady, very slow.
What if she was in shock?
That's what I'm asking. When you're in shock, would that happen? I would think that she'd be...
I'm not a doctor.
Panicked. I just found it very interesting. Boy, you're not kidding. You're not a doctor. I just found it very interesting.
Yes.
That it was a very slow, steady
but
heartbeat.
Loud.
Now, that also could be very loud, yes. It could also be her control thing. Like, she may be able to control her emotion so much that she's not panicked, that she's just assessing the situation, which is why we're hearing this heartbeat go slowly. Because if it had been going fast, she's going to be panicked. She's more likely to make more mistakes in this instance, and she didn't. Okay.
Skinner, so they're loading the last of the body bags.
Right.
And the car is there, but so is Skinner's body, and it's all by itself.
Yes.
And she goes over to look at it. Okay, really?
Yeah. Well, we didn't know it was Skinner's body. We just kind of assumed it, but then they showed the shot, and you could see his hand with his wedding ring on it. And you're like... Would you have been able to go and look at that? No, absolutely not. And she goes over, and she lifts it and looks, and puts it... Now.
Okay, I wanted to say something.
Go ahead, because I want to say something about that, too.
Go for it. You go first.
Well, this ties into the heartbeat the way it was. There is a possibility that she was staging that moment. That if she had killed him, which we know she did, but to people looking at her, if she had killed him, she would never go near that body. She would want to do anything she can to avert attention. So by going over, looking at it, looking disgusted, not doing a show, because she plays it very cool, like, you got nothing. And it just made me feel like that possibly could be her putting on a show. Because think about Holder at the same time. He's standing back. He wants nothing to do with anything. He's standing there looking a little freaked.
He's watching from a distance.
But he's a little freaked.
Okay. What I wanted to say about this.
Yes.
What often happens in crimes, and what do the cops always say in real life and on TV and in movies? They always say the criminal always goes back to the scene of the crime.
Yes.
And
although in this case they have to because they're detectives.
Doesn't matter. If she had to look, because she's actually, like, if she just is... The criminal.
And she had to return to the scene of the crime.
And she was like...
Which is also another thought here.
Yeah. Because you're saying that, like, is she looking to try to make herself look innocent, or is she looking guilty because she looks like the criminal returning to the scene of the crime?
Right.
Are they going to go, yeah, of course she's, of course she had to look. She could still be there and say, I have to be here because I'm a detective, but she didn't have to look.
The other possibility, which is a strong possibility, is that she looked because she needed it to be real.
Disclosure?
Yeah, she needed to see everything that we think happened. When she looks at that body, she knows it did happen the way we thought. I shot him. Because that might not, with the shock and all the craziness going on, there may have been that split second of, I need to see to know that that's what happened.
Yeah, could be a combination of all three.
Right.
So Carl is talking to the coroner.
Yes.
About how long it will take to ID the girls and
Skinner. Oh man! And when he shows up there, they showed the morgue, and there were bodies lining the hallway. Both sides, those red biohazard bags. That was a wild image. I have no idea how many bags were there. I mean, it seemed like it was endless.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know, once again, that's not the only place he dumped bodies.
Nope.
We know of 2 locations. He indicated there were lots of locations.
And he did do this to hundreds of girls already,
Yes.
at one that they found in one lake, and now here, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
Did the man ever sleep? Because he seemed to have killed
a lot.
Regularly.
Well, and think about it. If he was a police lieutenant and everything, he probably went out of town for conventions or whatever. He probably had to travel a little bit. Did he do this every place he went? And how many? If he's got, if he's in town with, 3 days to kill, you like that? Did he kill 5 girls or 10 girls in that 3 days, or was it just 1 while he was in Dallas or Chicago or wherever? Does he have murder spots all over?
We'll never know, because she shot him in the freaking head.
Right.
So, anyway, the coroner said that the deputy commissioner wants Carl to attend.
Right.
He wants him to wait he wanted Carl to wait.
Right.
He wanted the...
He hadn't started on Skinner yet.
The coroner was supposed to wait so that the commissioner could attend. So the commissioner
could be there because of the high-profile nature of this, and Skinner himself.
Carl said, I want a copy of the autopsy.
Yes, because he's investigating.
Yeah, and he's like, I want a copy. I want the results.
Yes.
And don't cut me out. No pun intended.
But so we've got a little soundtrack on this one.
So it took us a minute to get to the fact that it was the coroner that has to wait for the deputy commissioner to attend. Okay. So Sarah and Holder are watching Carl in the corner.
That sounds like a buddy cop show from the 70s. Carl in the corner.
They're watching him through that window. Can you even I mean, I cannot fathom what this would feel like in any way.
This is so awesome.
And she says, Carl's got nothing on us.
Yeah.
And then Holder
says it's all circumstantial. He's got nothing. And Holder does
not agree.
Well, he looks freaked out.
Yeah, because he's going to prison. He's got a baby coming.
Yes.
And he, unlike Sarah, would actually like to parent his child.
Ooh, shot to Sarah. Wow. So the other thing is, Holder looks down at one of the bodies, and he sees the earring that was Callie's.
He spots Callie's body.
Which, this is going to send him down a bad path also, because let's face it, he's still reeling about Bullet getting killed from last season.
So am I.
This whole Callie thing is not resolved. No. It is tied into this. That reminds him of why what happened.
Yeah.
Why he was invested the way he was and let things go the way they did. So this is a rough moment. I kind of forgot about Callie at this point. Like, I wasn't thinking about the importance of finding Callie.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the beginning of the season. Like, episode 1, I was kind of like, we got to resolve this Callie thing. And then we saw, other things that were reminding us. But this moment, brought it all back for me, which is what it was doing for Holder, too.
Bethany, Skinner's daughter, comes in screaming and crying.
Oh, screaming for her dad. Where is he? I want to see him. Where is my dad? And
he did this.
Yeah.
He did this.
Yeah, but all she's thinking is her dad. Dummy. And she's seeing Sarah there, and Sarah just hustles out. In fact, I think she actually made the curly sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sarah runs out of there.
Not a feel-good moment, though. Sarah goes to the school to see the colonel.
Yes.
And she tells the colonel that her car was seen, that her red car.
Oh, no, she doesn't just tell her. Sarah, now she's just come from being confronted with Bethany there. Mm-hmm. She goes to see the colonel, and she is super emotional. Like, it's just pouring out of everywhere with Sarah. And she's just yelling. She's confronting, and she's saying, the car was sitting outside of Stansbury's. Why was your car there? And this colonel's just like, whoa.
And it was seen there at night and in the morning several times.
Yes.
And why?
And she says, you can't come in here without a warrant. And she says, I'm getting a warrant. Mm-hmm. But she's super heightened
here. Well, she's taking out all of her emotions on the colonel.
On the colonel, yeah, of course.
The colonel calls Kyle into her office and tells him tomorrow's family day,
Oh,
so God. If you want to...
Now, remember, Family Day is when everything went to hell for him. Remember, they said they had Family Day, and then that night is when his family was killed. So, guess what? It's Family Day again. Hey.
How often do they have Family Day? Because it's only been a couple weeks.
I don't know. Maybe it's every couple weeks. Maybe they open it up. Yeah, maybe they open it up to the family every few weeks or something.
But he doesn't want to be excused from it. He
refuses to be excused. Yeah. He wants to be there.
He wants to be like everybody else.
This idea of his to be like everybody else seems to not be working well because
you think?
Because his enemies in the school, whether they're guilty of anything or not, seem to take these as the opportunities to really stick a knife in this guy. And I think...
Once again, no pun intended.
Yeah, but see, we used it again. If I think the Colonel in her would appear to be good intentions, and her saying, you can be accused of everything, and then allowing him to refuse, I think that she should have exerted authority and said, you will not partake.
In order for us to keep you safe.
Right. Regardless of the emotional part of it and people thinking whatever, you need to not partake. But she didn't. I think that was a mistake on her part in a big way.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't had very good leadership skills.
She's made odd choices. I mean, there have been things that she's done really well and things that I've liked her for, and then other things where I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
Once again, there's a lot of people that are suspicious, and even though I'm leaning away from her being suspicious, it's stuff like this that makes me say, this isn't suspicious, this is more bad choice, but are those cracks? Mm-hmm. Are they cracks in something? I still say it could turn out that she's his mom, and that's why she's mothering, and she doesn't stop him, and things like that, which could be her faults here coming through.
Well,
we'll see. So Kyle enters Lincoln's room.
He goes to see Lincoln.
Yeah. And Lincoln's sitting there. What's he doing? Cleaning his gun. Yeah. And he even holds it up at one point and pretends to shoot at Kyle, even though it's not loaded. Didn't we hear that there are no guns allowed on campus? What's he doing in his room cleaning a gun? This whole scene, very upsetting.
Well, he accuses him of putting the map in his book, etc. And other things.
And he says, don't you wonder why we all have pictures of your mom?
Well, and he's starting to remember, and he tells him, I'm starting to remember, and Lincoln tells him...
You're making it sound like he's just telling him like they're buddies. No,
I didn't say they were buddies.
I know, but you're saying it in a way, he's super agitated, and he's like, I'm starting to remember. Like, it's getting accusatory, which means, does this mean that he knows Lincoln did this?
Or has something
to do with it.
And Lincoln tells him to look into AJ.
Yeah.
He said,
Once again,
buddies
you've been
now with AJ.
suspicious of AJ.
It's like, he's the one that you need to be watching out for. Why is he all of a sudden being nice to you?
Yeah. Which, was he really nice?
No.
I mean, seriously, that last episode, he's been nice until that last episode when he made him smack him in the face repeatedly. So, yeah. So these two guys, and why are they gunning for Kyle? And what a horrible thing to imply that, everybody, did his mom? His mom's dead. I mean, what's he doing? I can't even, it seems like part of the hazing and part of this whole thing. It's like, it just seems nuts to me.
Well, yeah, and Lincoln, more so than what we know of the other cadets so far, is that Lincoln has history with his mom and was sexually inappropriate.
Yes.
She was inappropriate with him. And so, he has anger there. You could look at that situation and go, I get why he has a bug up his butt about her.
Right.
He has an issue with her.
Right.
But what is going on with the rest of the cadets? I don't understand the rest of it.
And why does this guy have a gun in his room when they were told they were not allowed to have guns? That freaks me out. I don't get that. And he's open about it. Okay. Yeah.
Sarah comes to hold her, and she's desperate for a lead on the Colonel, because she just wants to latch onto something. She wants distraction or justice or a combination of lots of things.
Right.
But for whatever reason, she just wants it to end. She wants it to be the Colonel.
The whole thing is just us. And he also figures out at this point that the Colonel and Stansbury were having an affair.
Yes, she and Kyle's dad were definitely
So Holder puts that one together. Sarah is super, tweaked and nuts.
And not you always say tweaked.
You're right. When
Use
we say tweaked,
adjective.
right, because Holder, when we say tweaked, means something different.
Yes.
So she's very agitated.
And Holder tells her to chill, and he says, just go do some push-ups or something. So I'm
going to start using that on you when you're not.
Doesn't work.
When you're not tweaked. What would we call it? Oh yes, heightened. I will tell you when you're
I
heightened.
call it heightened. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you when you're heightened. Sarah's very heightened, but I'm going to tell you to go do some push-ups. That's going to go well, isn't it?
I'll push up.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
So their warrant was denied.
How come I think when I say it, you're going to go? I'm going to follow it up with, "Why are you looking at me, Stan?"
Right. So their warrant was denied, and they go to Carolyn and demand that she help them get the warrant.
Yeah.
And I wrote here.
Oh, she's terrible to Carolyn.
Wait. I wrote here. She has to wait, and Sarah doesn't like to wait.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote. So you go ahead and fill it.
Yeah, I just wrote Sarah doesn't want to wait. Very impatient.
And she's very.
Oh, she's so awful.
Very crabby to Carolyn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also put here, she storms away and Holder's like, yeah, she's a little,
heightened.
Well, heightened. Yeah, she's going to go do some push-ups. But I wrote in my notes here that we have now flip-flopped again.
Mm-hmm.
Holder is clearly level. Sarah has gone off the deep end.
Yes.
This has happened every episode. It seems like one of them is off, one of them is on, or somewhere in it switches. This one, after seeing Skinner's body and that, she is not handling it well.
No.
I thought he was in panic mode, but he seems to be grounding better than her at this
today,
point.
in this hour.
Yeah. Once again, I think they're going to just keep flipping back and forth. It's just crazy.
Holder asks Sarah when Jack is leaving, and he suggests that she go hang out with him so she can calm down. Guess what? As men out there?
Yeah.
Not the best choice? Not the best choice.
Yeah.
Women don't typically like to hear, go do something so you could calm down. And for her, he's saying, go parent your kid. Go hang out with your kid.
That's going to go well for him.
Which is a double-edged sword, because it's saying you're not being with your kid, you're not parenting, you're not. So there's a lot of
and that's going to go well for him
here.
when Carolyn starts getting very hormonal because of the pregnancy. And not that you did. Why are you looking at me, Stan?
No, I'm not saying a word.
When she starts getting hormonal and he's like, yeah, go do some push-ups. Hey, why don't you, he starts pushing her buttons because he thinks that he's, in control. That's not going to go well
not at all. Not a good idea.
Not at all.
Well, Callie's mom shows up.
Right, here she is. Okay, so we were reminded of Callie earlier in the episode. Like I said, I wasn't really thinking about Callie for a little bit. I'd kind of forgotten about her mom being around. I'm really glad they brought her back here.
Yes, I was too.
And it really brought everything full circle. So this was good. Not that it's
not in a good circle.
No, not in a good way, but from a storytelling standpoint, say that 10 times fast. I think that it was really good.
Well, Holder tells her that she's at the morgue, and he tells her that she can't see Callie because there's nothing left. And he just was a real jerk to her.
He says she doesn't have a face anymore.
And
that's horrible to say to a mother.
Not cool, Holder.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really horrible.
One scene ago, we were saying he was holding it together. Here, he's not holding it together so well.
Oh, it was just a really this is
right. But it's because
he's mad at her for not parenting her child.
And it's the whole thing, and it's the thing with Bullet, it's the thing with her not parenting, it's the fact that Carolyn's pregnant, and it's the fact that they're dredging up these bodies, and he's part of this. What's happening is, it's not so simple as he's up, she's down. It's, at any moment, something's going to bubble up and cause him to act unlike he acts.
Yeah.
It's going to cause her to be nuts. So, this is all going very badly this episode. So, in frustration, Sarah's sitting at her desk, and she just pitches everything off her desk.
She's losing it.
Just, and right then,
Carl.
In walks Carl.
Ding dong. Ding dong. Carl calling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good timing, Sarah.
He knows.
He won't think anything of that.
He knows everything. Yeah. He knows Skinner was the Pied Piper. He knows all of it. And
he says, you pulled the trigger, didn't you? He says it outright to her.
And then she says, I've misjudged you. You're even more incompetent than I thought.
Then he tells her that Holder blabbed at his Narcotics Anonymous meeting.
Yeah, he says it's only a matter of time because Holder blabbed it at an NA meeting, and that's why we dredged the lake. It's always the one with a conscience. And she's thinking, oh my gosh, now...
Because she didn't know. Now, she doesn't react. She plays it cool in front of him, but you can tell by her face, oh crap.
And he is telling the truth.
Right, she's feeling betrayed, but she also doesn't know if that's the truth. She doesn't know. So it's like she could be feeling he's manipulating the situation.
Yeah.
Or
he is. But he is telling the truth. But he is, because he's...
Oh yeah, he's using a tactic to get her to talk.
With each one, he says that's why we dredged the lake.
Yes.
So Holder saying that wasn't necessarily why they dredged the lake.
Right.
But he's telling her it was. But the fact of the matter was, Holder said that they committed a murder and got away with it.
Right.
At an NA meeting.
Right.
What a freaking idiot.
Right. Nice move, Holder. Smooth move, that Slacks. You like that?
Okay, so Kyle waits.
I barely even said that one right. But.
I ignored it anyway. Kyle waited for AJ to leave, and he went into his room and searched it, and he found the map and everything.
And he found this rope. I don't know what you call it, but it's like a rope that we saw it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of picks it up and looks at it. It's like a ceremonial, like a little rope that they wear on their uniform. And he picks up that thing and he looks at it and he finds the map of it to his house that we saw in the book
with
from
the
before.
X's all over.
I mean, to me, this whole thing, yikes. Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? So AJ did it? AJ's involved. Or is he being set up?
Yep.
Because he's absolutely a jerk, but that doesn't mean he did it. Did Lincoln set him up? Is that why Lincoln pointed him in that direction? Somebody at that school did it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question now.
Yeah.
But what is the significance of that rope?
Right.
Because they lingered on it.
Oh, we're going to find out.
Okay.
Holder is holding the baby shoe that he had bought in another episode. And Carolyn comes in and she says the judge is tied up with St. George's. And she's like, you're going to throw away your career.
Yeah.
And our future away over a case. She's like, you've got to let this one go.
Yeah, but you know why he threw out the warrant? And why she's saying you're going to ruin your career? Yeah. Because the judge has ties to St. George's.
I just said, Carolyn said the judge is tied up with St. George's.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Well, I was thinking about...
I'm so glad you're part of this podcast and you're working
It happens when
you just tune out as soon as I start talking?
No,
I think everybody else.
Yeah, I did too. But my brain, I just started thinking about that scene before and about how, creeped out I was. So when you started talking about this next scene, I was still thinking about that because that was a big...
So I didn't give you enough time to process it.
I needed to process a little bit.
I don't believe you. I think you just tuned me out when I get to the...
Are you? Oh, you're talking?
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
So guess what?
What?
Here's a tidbit you probably didn't know.
I might not have.
The judge is tied up with St. George's. Did you know that?
Out.
Yeah, so she doesn't want Holder to throw his career or their future away over a case.
I feel like I'm having deja vu all over again.
Could you please just let it go and...
Yes.
And,
much like Holder and Lyndon, you and I are at odds right now.
Are we?
Yeah, we're not really.
I didn't feel it.
We're feeling the stress of this case, though. So the next scene starts with Holder and Lyndon at odds. See how I did that transition? That was beautiful. Are you done with that other scene?
I feel done.
Okay.
Put a fork in me. Sarah wants the warrant,
pushes
and Holder tells her they can't get the warrant.
Yeah, she's pushing him for the warrant. And she's like, then you just get another judge. And he's like, look, we're not going to get it. And we're going to lose our careers over this.
Okay. The best part of this scene is that Sarah completely calls him out, that Carolyn won't let him pursue it.
Right.
So not only does she, I mean, I love that when Holder underestimates her.
Right.
And, but, he's like, yeah, we just can't get it. And she's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's because Carolyn won't let you pursue it. And the colonel comes in at that time and gives them her keys.
Yeah, this was crazy.
And she admits to the affair.
Yeah, so this is crazy because she was so adamant about not sharing this information, and now all of a sudden she walks in and she's like, I think it's, when you're acting accusatory, I am not going to work with you. But I want to flip these over and be honest. I was having an affair. That's why the car was there. Basically, you have nothing.
Well, yet. Yeah. And they said she admits to the affair they'd been having for the past few years, but Sarah accuses her of stalking him.
Yes.
And, okay, so then we find out her car was completely reupholstered.
Yeah.
And she, it makes up some excuse for why she needs...
Yeah,
whoever gets their car reupholstered, okay?
Right.
That's not a thing that people do.
Hold on, I got to call to cancel our reupholstery of the inside of the car.
Well, ours is hanging down.
Ours is hanging down.
If anybody should, it should probably be us. But even we don't. I mean, people just don't do that.
Even we don't.
You kind of just get rid of the car at some point, or you get a staple gun or some duct tape.
Yeah, we're going to get two-sided tape. I'm going to take care of it.
And she said she was at a fundraiser the night of the murders, and then Sarah says, you were forced out of the military. We find out she was forced out of the military because
she talks about how she
shot civilians.
Yes.
And her men didn't obey her orders, so she shot a father and his 3-year-old son.
Yes.
Who can do that?
Somebody...
What kind of monster?
Without a heart.
So do we not think that she could have easily killed that family based on that knowledge?
I don't know, but at the same time, is that why she's so weird with Kyle? Because she's trying to make up for the fact that she killed this...
And I'm not saying I think she killed the family, but I'm saying when you hear something like that, and
it does add that question
you
mark
could
to
kill because little what's her name, the younger sister Nadine, I want to call her Natalie. To be able to look at a 6-year-old, you think, who could do that? How could this woman do it? But she shot a 3-year-old.
Right. Yeah, it does raise the question.
Yeah. Kyle's going to the Colonel's house, and AJ comes out of her house.
Yeah.
And
he stops her from entering, or
he
stops Kyle from entering Colonel
And he
Rain's
says
house.
she's off campus until that night.
Yeah. And he sees the map in Kyle's hand, and he's just kind of bullying him. She's not here, you can't go in, whatever, sees the map. And Kyle leaves. He's pretty freaked.
And he leaves the campus.
Well, because he knows that Lincoln knows something about this, and that AJ knows something about this.
And he goes to leave. It looked like he was trying to leave campus on foot. Like he walked to the edge of the entrance of the campus, like the grounds.
Yeah, like
so it was a little strange.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on.
Where is he going?
I actually couldn't figure that one out even afterwards.
No, and he sees the cars coming in for Family Day, and he sees Nadine.
Yes. Well, he sees a girl, and
he reminds him of Nadine.
Yes, it's supposed to make him think of Nadine.
It made me think.
It made you think of Nadine. Well, it made you think of Natalie, whoever that is.
Sarah's at her mom's.
Yes, this is big.
Okay, because
before she rejected even having a conversation with the mom, and all of a sudden she's there.
Jack had told her in the last episode that his dad didn't want him.
Right.
That he can't go back to Chicago because his dad rejected him and won't keep him. The stepmother didn't like him.
Right. Understandable. What a jerk.
So Sarah's at her mom's, and she needs her to do something for her. She said, I need you to take care of Jack if something happens to me.
Yeah.
And
she's still very angry with her mom. She's still not giving in. But this is the only concession she does is, if something happens to me, which we know something might be happening here.
Oh, yeah. It's called life in prison.
Yeah, she's saying, you take Jack.
She has a picture the mom has a picture of herself and Sarah, and they tell the story where she got lost at a carnival, and why did you let go of my hand?
Right.
I was young and alone, I was afraid. The mom says, I was young and alone, I was afraid. And she says...
It's important you said the mom said that, because that very well could be what Sarah was saying as a kid.
Hang on, you just talked the best part of that.
Okay.
She says, I was young and alone, I was afraid, and she says, it was hard to stay.
Yeah.
It's always been hard for me. I'm not good at staying. Okay,
but you were with your second family.
No, but Sarah's
the same.
Sarah can't stay either.
No, Sarah's the same.
She can't even stay in the room with him for 10 minutes.
Right.
I mean, she just literally cannot. It is not in her DNA.
And I bet if you go back in the mother's past, she probably has a mother that's separated that way, and it just keeps feeding on itself.
So that was really important when she said it was hard to stay.
And then Sarah leaves without even hugging her. I was like, you would think there would be some kind of awkward exchange, but no. Sarah just leaves.
Yeah. It was awkward.
Yeah.
But not an
exchange.
Yeah,
but no exchange.
So Kyle's watching Family Day out the window now. So I don't know why they had him walk I guess just a way to have a plot device to put Nadine in there.
Right.
But he is watching Family Day from out his window, and AJ is taking pictures, and a cadet comes into his room.
He's taking pictures of the moms and their kids, and it's creepy. What is going on with the moms? That's what he's doing.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And a cadet comes in.
What do they do to the moms? Not every mom is going to be like, hey, let's hook up with all these cadets, because that's what they're implying Kyle's mom did. But What is this?
Okay. So this is important.
Okay.
A cadet comes into Kyle's room and says, AJ's telling me I have to be out in the hallway at midnight, and they're going to do this hazing thing. And he says, did they do that to you too?
Right.
And he's trying to...
And Kyle's like, what are you talking about?
No, Kyle knew very well what he was talking about.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. And he said, there are braided belts on certain doors. Those are the things that you saw.
That was that rope, yes.
Yeah, and that's why it was very important. They use them to do this hazing.
Right, but that's why I'm saying I don't think he remembered exactly what happened. But then when he saw the braided rope on the door, that's when you can tell he's remembering something.
I know. I believe he knew.
You think he knew there was a
from
hazing?
The beginning when he said, Did they do that to you too? Is this something that I should be scared of? And
yeah, see, I don't think he knew until he said that.
So Sarah and Holder go to the dance teacher's studio to question him. This is the colonel has a dance instructor.
Right.
And he was her alibi.
Right.
They were at a fundraiser.
Right. She said she was with him. Right.
And he's her alibi for the night of the murders. And Holder says that he said something like that they didn't have a relationship together.
Right.
And it was just and
it was
Holder says
and...
that's it. G.I. Jane just wants to hug.
Yeah.
Right. We never got any further.
Well, he said it was just for comfort. There wasn't anything more. But yeah,
because she essentially paid him for companionship was what it sounded like.
Well, then he also says that the colonel lost a kid. So she shot a kid. She's lost a kid. Like, once again, I think that whole mothering thing.
But is the kid that she lost Kyle?
I don't know.
Right.
When I say I don't know, we truly have not watched the last episode. If any of this is revealed in there, we don't know.
No, and we never spoil. We don't read anything that tells us, so that may be good for some people, and for other people it may be driving them crazy.
Yeah, but we just
don't know. And we want to be able to talk about it for people that are, right. So that people can see what
we don't want to record that last episode until
experiencing it for the first time.
We've watched the last episode and then immediately recorded. So
okay, so Jack is talking to his girlfriend, and Sarah hears him, and he says he's only there because Sarah's alone all the time, and he lied about his dad not wanting him because he pitied Sarah.
Now, did you see that coming?
No!
I did not see that coming.
Oh my gosh, it was cruel. In his way
he wasn't
of
being
protecting her, it was cruel.
But
are you kidding me?
Yes.
That is very cruel. You come back and
I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is his intentions were not cruel. They were meant to be loving.
No.
But it's cruel.
I disagree. If you want to come back, you say, Mom, I want to come back to be here with you. I want to live with you. You don't do backhanded things and lie to the person and say, my dad doesn't want me.
But he said that because he didn't think she would let him in. He thought that because of how she is.
Once again, Mother of the Year.
Yeah. So, I think his intentions were pure. He just went about it in the absolute worst way. Bad move, Jack. See? That's why he's awful. That's why his dad's and wife rejected him.
Nice.
See?
Okay, so here you
go,
Rob.
Jack, zing!
Kyle confronts Lincoln about why AJ puts the amulets on the doorknobs.
Right.
So he says it was there the night of the murders. So he's trying he's going around AJ, though.
Yeah.
He's asking Lincoln.
Yeah. And that's why I said I don't think he remembers. I think he's getting glimpses of...
But he knows that something bad happens when they do that. It's a hazing.
And he tells him...
So I back off that he didn't know, technically.
He tells him not to come to Charles tonight. Charles must be that kid that had the rope on his door or something. I don't know. But he's like, don't come to Charles tonight. Do not. You don't want to know what this is.
And then Lincoln immediately goes to the Colonel's, and AJ is there.
Yes.
Oh, my God, I did not see this coming. Okay.
And then, so here's what I'm thinking at this point. Let me just pause. When we see AJ step out of the shadows and Kyle starts to talk, I'm thinking Kyle's the big bad guy.
They're doing good cop, get bad cop. Right?
And that Lincoln is now, like, in a bad position. That's how I was thinking of it. As this plays out, we're going to see a very different story.
All right, well, hang on. So what we know right now is he
starts telling her that Kyle is... Go ahead.
I said they, and you interrupted me. Edit this out.
I'm going to edit.
What we know so far is that they're telling the Colonel that he's remembering.
Yes.
And he's not going to let it go. And she says they're wrong.
Right.
He's not remembering. You're crazy.
Right.
It's fine.
So, in this 10 seconds where I was thinking, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's AJ and it's the Colonel, and now we're going, wait a minute, it's the three of them, and the Colonel's pulling the strings.
No, but hang on.
Yes.
They followed her plan, and they said, we followed your plan, but not anymore. And she warns them that Kyle is not to be touched.
Right.
So what is this plan?
And what is it about Kyle? And AJ says Lincoln screwed up the plan by basically poking at Kyle, which is what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
AJ was getting him in close, was making him think they were buddies, and that was going to get them through this. Lincoln is the one that couldn't take it and was egging him on,
mm-hmm.
and that's what caused him to start remembering.
Yes. So what the heck is going on?
I don't know.
And your theory is starting to look more sound, because I've thought you were nuts through every episode going, why would she be his mother?
Through 3.5 seasons, you thought I was nuts.
Well,
until now!
No, just this particular. But the fact that she's saying he is not to be touched,
right.
and that she's
But is that just because she had the affair with his dad?
But that doesn't make any sense.
No, if she was
because
involved in killing the rest of the family.
Murdering him.
Right.
So if they're all involved in this murder, why is he safe?
Right.
And why is she saying he's not to be touched? I don't understand what's going on.
So AJ wants to confront Kyle flat out, and the Colonel blocks it, and then hits AJ. Bam!
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's this violence going on. I mean, I put big exclamation points there, because I didn't see that coming. So, I just don't know. Okay. Let's move on. I'm starting to actually get...
Hyperventilating.
Yeah, a little bit, and we're just going through the episode.
So Holder and Sarah discuss whether the Colonel pulled the trigger.
Yes.
And Sarah thinks that she got cadets to do it for her. And she confronts Holder about what he said.
Which it very much looks like it is.
Yes. And she confronts Holder about what he said at the NA meeting.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah. He apologizes.
Yeah. He just lays it out there and apologizes.
And
she calls him a junkie.
She said, I was wrong about you. You are just a junkie.
Yeah.
And she calls him out on what kind of father he will be.
Yeah, she's like, you'll be some father.
And he hits her back with, how's Jack doing, by the way? She forgot to take him to the airport. So as soon as he says that, she goes, oh, crap.
Which also means she didn't feed him. So, he's going to the airport like on his own with vending machine.
I mean, really, what an exchange.
Oh, my.
The fact that anyone is just allowed to breed.
Once again, pot, meat kettle.
I don't think either one of them is a fit parent. But
I think, in a way, Sarah's worse.
Oh, Sarah's worse.
But as bad as, it is.
Sarah's definitely worse, but Holder is... He's going to have one heck of a woman taking care of these kids.
That was unbelievable.
I forgot to take him to the airport. So she takes
Especially after the last scene was her with her mom, take care of him in case something happens. You would think she'd be all over him because she knows that it's likely she's going away to prison, and instead she just forgets.
So she does take him to the airport.
Yes.
And she tries to... Actually, okay, I commend her here because she does actually try to have a conversation with him about why she's like she is, though.
Tries, yes.
But she said, I was a kid when I had you, and I didn't have anyone to show me how to be a mom. And so she's trying to get him to understand.
Yeah, see it from my perspective.
I'm learning as I go, and I'm really bad at it, but I'm trying really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's coming back at summer break. They determined. So at least they made up a little bit here.
And she tells him not to worry about her because she knows that he's worried. You don't need to worry. But of course, the whole time she's saying it, all I can think is, Jack, be worried, because something's about to happen. Something's going to go down. We only have an episode and a quarter left to this whole season. Series, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Something's going to happen.
So Holder... Oh,
wait. What? She also says to him, I love
good.
this.
Okay, go ahead.
She says to him as he's getting out, "You're my best thing."
Yes, that was very
That was
sweet.
her, like, in my world of garbage.
Right.
You are it.
You're it.
And that's a big thing.
You and vending machines.
That's something he can hang on to no matter what. She gives him a big hug. To me,
that was
it was
very
like,
sweet.
Finally. Because you know she loves him. She just can't show it. She can't figure this out. This was the best that you get from Sarah as far as being a mother. Yes. Right there.
So Holder, on the other hand, is at church abusing nuns.
Yeah, he's very upset. He goes up and he starts like yelling at the nuns behind the screen.
Well, he's listening to him first, so you're kind of thinking, okay. But then he goes up, he starts banging his head and yelling at the nuns, "Where is he?" Meaning God, because he's just having a crisis.
And God's not showing up.
God's showing up. Probably, but he's just not listening.
Right.
But anyway, he's beating
Holder's
his head.
not listening. Not God's not listening.
That's what I mean. He's beating his head against and the nuns go scurrying off. But I just...
Once again, it sounded a little bit like Curly, but now it was like 5 Curlys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine if you were sitting there singing and someone started screaming and banging their head against the thing?
I can imagine.
Frightening. Okay. So, Carl comes in.
I've done it often.
While Holder's in the bathroom.
Yes.
Now here's where he's playing them against each other. He tells Holder he knows everything. Yeah. And at this point he's dividing and conquering.
Yes.
Okay. The only reason they dredged the lake was because Skinner's wife saw Sarah throw something into the water.
Yes.
And
says that this whole thing is Sarah's fault.
And so he had just told Sarah that the only reason they dredged the lake was because Holder
had told
at the NA meeting. So he is absolutely playing them off against each other. And so now Holder's going to freak out, go to Sarah,
right.
And
He's
say,
trying to get somebody to slip up.
What the heck did you throw into the lake? Why did you go back to the house?
Well, that's not what he's after. He's after one of them coming to him and going like, "I'm making my deal first."
No, but I'm just saying Holder's now going to freak out on Sarah because this is what she does. She goes back to the scene of the crime and throws something into the water.
Right.
What is wrong with you?
Right. And his witness doesn't look around to see if anyone's watching.
So
and he tells Holder's storming out, and he tells him he's leaving, that he's going to sit down with, the DA in the morning.
The deputy commissioner in the morning.
And tell him, you have until tomorrow morning to make your decision to, come forward.
He said, now's your chance to protect your family.
Yeah.
So he is totally using this baby.
Now, then we see that Sarah's watching this whole exchange. She's right there, and she sees that Holder doesn't crack. This is important. So, you know what? This builds trust back where trust has been pretty broken. We'll see how that plays out.
Well, Kyle's watching. Okay, this was nuts. This was
weird.
Nuts. Okay, so Kyle's watching the cadets leave with AJ. It's a trap.
Yeah.
They're helping jog his memory about what happened at his hazing, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, they jump him and they drag him into this room, and there's all the older cadets, and they show him a picture of his mom. And then he starts having a flashback as they're yelling at him. They're probably yelling at him what's happening in the flashback at the same time, but he has this flashback. You want me to take this part? Because it's rough.
Which part?
Go ahead.
When he goes to the colonel or before the colonel?
Did you know what happens in the flashback?
You go for that. I'll take over when he goes
You probably didn't write it.
I refuse. I wrote Kyle remembers and hits AJ. I wrote that it's horrifying.
Oh yeah, no, you missed.
And that they dragged his memory about what happened.
What they were doing is they had the picture of the mom with the cadet. Okay, so when AJ was taking pictures of the moms of the cadets, they take that picture of the mom, they put it in front of the cadet, and they make them pleasure themselves in front of the picture about the mom, which is just
so sick,
horrifying. And then they start yelling, "She wants it, she wants it." And then it turns into a chant in the flashback of that you need to kill her, kill her, kill her, kill her, kill her. That's when Kyle flashes back into reality, punches AJ.
Yeah. And
he remembers what happened.
And he runs to the colonel, and he tells her that he remembers that night.
Yes.
And
she's saying, calm down, calm down.
He takes a lead soldier, and he sees the gun in the case, and he turns the gun on her.
Well, wait, you're jumping over it.
I am, because it's so upsetting.
You can't jump over it.
All right, go ahead.
Because she leaves the room, and we know that she's in on it. So I'm thinking she's going to get somebody or get a gun or something. But Kyle's left there in the room, and he walks over, and they're lined up in the cabinet.
I said he takes a lead soldier.
But you didn't say they were all... It was the same lead soldier, the same way they were lined up in his house that the father has done. He now knows that she either is tied in with the dad or that she took these. He knows she's involved. Mm-hmm. He didn't know she was involved till the moment he saw them lined up.
Yeah.
Just grabbing a lead soldier means nothing.
That meant something to me.
Seeing them lined up, exact same scenario. Then he sees the gun, and he knows that gun is the missing gun. She has it as a trophy. Yeah. The gun that the family was killed with, because the gun they found was the gun that he tried to shoot himself with.
Exactly.
The gun that was there is the gun.
The second gun.
And she has it as a trophy in her case in a room that he's been in 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
See why I said you missed a lot? You have to cover that.
It wasn't that necessarily that I missed
So he pulls that gun out.
I just was glossing over.
And points it right at the colonel.
She takes the gun and hugs him, and he hits her and runs.
Yeah.
So
she claims she was protecting him.
Yeah.
It's not just that quick. I mean, she's like, I was protecting you, like, this whole thing. And she takes the gun, and she said she would never let anyone hurt him. Once again, going back to my theory, he pushes her away, hits her, and pushes her away, like, and goes running through the woods.
Yep.
Now he goes outside. He's running, and then
AJ and Lincoln are shooting at him.
They start hunting him.
Yeah.
We start hearing gunshots, and he's dodging, and then we see it's AJ and Lincoln, and they've got their rifles, and they're hunting him. And then he gets behind a tree, and he's standing there, and he's just panicked, reminding me very much of that very opening with Rosie Larson when she was trapped behind the tree, and we saw the silhouette of the killer. Here we see the lights on either side from their guns of the tree. Mm-hmm. They're coming up on AJ.
On Kyle. And they see his breath.
They see his breath behind the tree, and it ends.
Yeah.
Well,
they surround him, and it ends.
Well, they're on either side of the tree. You see the breath.
There were more than just the two of them.
No, there weren't. It was only Kyle and AJ. I know why you thought that. It was only Kyle and AJ.
Because it looked like they surrounded him.
No. I know why you thought that. It was not. It was just Kyle and AJ, and they were coming up on either side of the tree. I know what you're saying. It looked like that, but I watched that ending very carefully. They were going on either side so he wouldn't have a way to run. So it looked like there were more people, but it was just the two of them, and he is behind the tree, and they show the shot from their angle, and that's when you can see the breath. So you know that they know he's there, and then it ended. So it's just the two of them out there shooting him.
And what chance does this kid have?
Oh, probably none. Probably none. I mean, I would not be surprised if the next episode starts with him dead.
Oh, how are they going to explain that, though?
How are they going to explain any of this? He has to be dead if they're going to get away with anything. Something's got to happen here. And if he does get out of it, which there is a slim chance, they still have to deal with all this. They were hunting him in the woods. There's going to be bullets there. Because if they kill him there and then they move it inside, like move the body or whatever, they're not going to go hunting through those woods if they have a body that's been shot somewhere else. But here, if he gets out and he tells the detectives they were hunting me in the woods, all they have to do is go in the woods, match up those bullets to the rifles, and his story proves out. They were chasing me through the woods, they were shooting, and there's going to be bullet holes in those trees.
Oh, absolutely.
And
casings. I mean, they can't collect
no matter what, I bet the colonel is not going to be very happy with these two boys for going out hunting him with rifles and not hitting him accurately on the first shot. Whew! Okay, let's end it.
Oh, gosh.
So you can find past episodes of this and all of our podcasts on our website, which is www.southgatemediagroup.com. You can find us on all the different social media platforms. We're on Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Facebook. We're on Instagram. Either look up The Killing Podcast or The Killing Pod, or what a lot of people do is they go right to the source, which is Southgate Media Group. And from Southgate Media Group, we have all of our different shows on there. So if you're interested to see what else we have, that's a great way to do it. Just look us up on any of those platforms and they'll be there. Get in conversation with us. Send us emails. We only have one episode left, and then this experiment is over. And if you want to, well, it's an experiment. It's one single solitary thing that's going to end.
How's that explained?
Okay, this project.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what? I'm in shock from this episode.
I know. We gotta get on. We gotta get on.
We gotta get right on to the next one and record it.
Going on.
So you can email us at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com. And that is the best way to reach us. It'll go right to the two of us. You can also find the show on iTunes. You can find it on Stitcher. You can find it on Podbean and Podomatic. Find it on TuneIn Radio. Please share it, like it, rate us, review us. It really helps us, and it helps other people find the show, which is important.
So maybe we can get a 5th season.
Maybe. You never know. Well, we don't know. They keep saying it's the final season. Maybe this last episode makes it so we're not getting a 5th season. Or maybe I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. So, regardless...
Maybe it becomes Orange is the New Black, Sarah and Holder edition.
Right! Either that or it's like True Detective, and the 5th season becomes 2 new cops in a new city with a completely different, horrible crime. Which would work.
That'd be awesome.
There you go, 5th season. Let's do it. Hashtag the killing 5th season. Let's do that. Nobody's going to do that. Okay. Not what I just said. That's it, everybody. Thank you for listening. I am Rob Southgate.
I'm Martha Southgate.
This has been the Killing Podcast. Until next time, maybe on the next episode, we'll find out who killed Rosie Larson. No, we found that out. We'll find out who killed Bullet. No. We're going to find out exactly what happened in the Stansburys and what's going to happen to Holder and Lynn.
Okay.
If you would like to donate to help pay for this and other Southgate Media Group podcasts, simply go to our website, southgatemediagroup.com, and click on the donate button. It can be as little as $1 or, well, as much as you want. Help keep this fun going by supporting this and our other shows. Thanks again for listening, everyone. You're the best fans in the world.